Drawing this Easter paper cut design is easier than you think, and I'm going to show you step by step how you can do it even if you're a beginner in digital art. Before you start drawing, make sure to download the color palette and paper textures for this illustration. They are linked in the description of this video. In this video, I'm doing a giveaway of my brush bundle, so if you would like to win this, just make sure you watch the whole video to get the secret password and write a comment with it. If you enjoyed this video and would like to draw more of me, join my Patreon where I have more step-by-step tutorials like this and many Procreate brushes. Link is in the description. And with all that being said, grab your drawing tools and let's start. Let's make a new canvas, A4 canvas from Procreate. And first we're going to color the paper that will be at the bottom of our illustration. So let's take the color, let's take this one and just drag and drop it in here. Now we can make a new layer to draw the top paper. So let's make a layer here and let's pick the color, take this one and we'll draw here an egg shape. Let's pick the brush for this. Let's go to calligraphy and take monoline brush. Let's make the brush size 35. And we can draw here an egg shape. We'll start with an ellipse. So draw it like that. Hold your pencil on the screen to make this nice ellipse. And now we can use the arrow tool to transform it into an egg shape. First, let's move it to the middle of the canvas. So here, make sure you have snapping turned on. And now if you move it, it will snap to the middle of the canvas. Now let's take here this warp option. And we can transform it into an egg shape. So we will make this wider here at the bottom and thinner here at the top. Let's keep doing that until we get the shape that we like. Okay, I like this shape, so let's go back now to the uniform option. And we can make it still bigger. And then we'll move it back to the middle of the canvas. Okay, let's stop here to finish. And now we're going to color the outside of this. So we have now our paper shape. This is the top paper. Let's make now the paper that is underneath this one. For this, we are just going to duplicate this layer. So swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. Now let's take that paper underneath the layer. And let's change the color of this. Take the second one here and drag and drop it in here. Now we're going to take the arrow tool and we can make it smaller, like this. And let's move it over here. I want to have more space at the bottom here and less space on top. Let's tap here to finish. And now if we hide this top layer for a second, you can see that this paper is missing here. Let's fill it in. So we have the whole paper. Okay, now let's bring back that first layer. And let's make one more layer here. Let's duplicate this one. And now let's take the one underneath it and make it smaller. First, let's change the color of this. Take this one. Drag and drop it in here. And let's take the arrow tool and make it smaller. Like this. Let's tap here to finish. And again, we have to color the outside of this. And we are going to do it one more time here. So let's duplicate this one. Now take this layer and change the color of this. Let's take this color, fourth one. And drag and drop it in here. And again, we'll make it smaller. Like this. Let's tap here to finish and then color the outside of this. So now we can start adding here some elements to our papers. Let's start with the top one. So let's go to this layer here. Let's take the same color. So the first one here. And let's draw a small bunny here. Draw here a shape like that. And now let's draw here a circle on top of this. Hold your pencil on the screen and now you can put your finger here to make this a circle. Now we can use here this option to move this. Okay. Tap with your finger on the screen to finish this, and now let's draw ears. So a simple shape like that. And one more here. And let's color this. So drag and drop the color here. Now take this continue filling option and drop the color into those places. Let's tap here to finish. And let's draw a smaller bunny somewhere here on top. Let's draw a circle now. And maybe this one can have pointy ears. Like this. Let's color this inside. And now we're going to change the brush to draw some grass and leaves. First let's tap here. And now let's change the brush. Let's go to inking and take Studio Pen. Let's make the brush size here 11. And let's draw a simple plant here like this. Draw a line. And now let's draw some leaves on it. If you want, you can draw here some different kind of plant. I'll just go with this simple shape. Let's color this inside. And let's draw a few more in the same way. I'll draw one going this way. Okay, let's color this. And one more, maybe somewhere here on top. Going like that. Let's color this inside. Now I'm going to make the brush size bigger, 61%, and I will draw the grass here, so just like that. And I will also make those stems of the plants a little bit thicker. Maybe for this I'll change the brush to 29%. Okay, so this first paper is ready. Now let's do the same to the second paper. Let's go to that layer. And let's take the color for this, so this one. Let's draw here grass. And some of those plants. Maybe one going over here, one somewhere here from the top, and one maybe somewhere like that. I will make the brush size smaller now to draw the leaves. I'll color them inside. If you don't see what you're drawing here, you can just turn off that first layer for a second. And as you can see, this is not so nice. I'm just going to erase this and fix this. I'll set the eraser to the same brush. so studio pen. And now I can draw this leaf here like that. Let's draw the leaves on the other plants. And now this one. And color this inside. Okay, let's move on to the next paper. I will bring back that first paper so I see the whole composition better. So now let's go to this one. Take the same color. So this one. And let's draw some leaves here. And maybe one more bunny in there. Maybe somewhere here, a smaller one. Circle for the head. And the ears. Like this. And now let's take a small break for the giveaway password. Write the comment with the word egg to have a chance to win my brush bundle. Your comment will mean a lot to me and I'll be very happy to see who's watching me. And now let's go back to drawing. Let's color him. And now let's draw some of those leaves. I'll draw one big one going over here. And again, if you have to, you can turn off the other layers so you can see better what you're drawing. I will color this inside. Okay. And maybe I'll add somewhere one more. I'll make one going like this. So here I'm going to turn off that first layer so I can see better. And now I can draw this easily. And I will draw here some grass. Let's bring back the first layer. And now we can move on to the last layer here. Let's take this color, so this one. And let's draw some plants here. Maybe let's have one big one somewhere like this. Then one over here. And somewhere still from top. I will turn off the layers now on top of this so I can see better. Okay. And I'll just draw the leaves now here. Let's color them inside. Okay, and let's draw some grass. Okay, let's bring back all the layers. So this is what we have now. Now we are going to put the paper texture on each of those papers. So let's start with the top one. Let's go to the top layer and let's import our paper texture. So let's go to the Actions menu, go to Add, and then insert the file, and you can pick the paper texture that you like. I'm going to pick number 14. And now we have to change the blending mode of this so we can see through this. So let's tap here, and I will set this one to linear burn. Let's change the opacity of this. Let's make it 51%. And I want this paper texture to be visible only on the top layer, so I'm going to set this to the clipping mask. And now for each next paper, we'll do the same, but we'll be making those paper textures a little bit smaller, because those papers are further away from us, so the texture will be a little bit smaller. So let's duplicate this, and let's move this one above the next paper here. Let's set it to clipping mask, and let's make this smaller. So let's take the arrow tool, and we can just make it a little bit smaller. Let's do the same for the next paper. So duplicate this, move it on top of the next paper, set it to clipping mask, and make it a little bit smaller. Okay, one more time, duplicate it, move it on top of the other paper, set it to clipping mask, and make it smaller. And the last time for the paper in the background. Let's duplicate this, move this on top of the background paper here, and let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, let's tap here to finish. So now we have paper textures ready. We can start dropping shadow from this. To do that, we have to duplicate all of those layers and change the color of them to black. So let's duplicate this one. Take the layer underneath now, tap on it, pick select. Here now we can pick color fill, and let's take the color. Let's take black color, just like that. And now if you open the layers, you can see this one is black. Let's do the same to the next layer. So duplicate it, take the one underneath it, tap on it and pick select, and it is already black. Again here, duplicate it, tap on this layer and pick select. And one more time for the top paper, let's duplicate it, tap on the layer underneath it, tap again and pick select. And now to see that shadow, we have to blur those layers. So let's start with this one. Let's go to the adjustments and take Gaussian blur. Swipe your pencil on the screen to the blur size. And let's make this maybe 13%. Let's tap here to finish, and let's do the same to the next layer, the next black layer. So this one, go to the adjustments, take Gaussian blur, and also let's make it 13. Let's move on to the next black layer, take the Gaussian blur, and add the blur size 13. And one more time, this black layer, go to the adjustments, take Gaussian blur, and make it 13%. Okay. Now this looks already nice, but we can adjust this and move this shadow around. So for this we have to select first all of those black layers. So let's swipe on them to the right, like this. And now let's take the arrow tool. I'll just make it smaller first. And we can move it to have the shadow in different places. So you can do however you like. You can have the shadow like this, or maybe like from the bottom. I will do it this way. Let's tap here to finish. And now this might be a little bit too strong. We can turn down the opacity of those layers. So let's open the layers. Let's tap here on this N letter. And let's make this smaller. Let's make it 76%. Let's do the same to the other black layers. So turn down the opacity to 77%. Let's see how this looks. It is a little bit softer now this way. Now to make this even nicer, we can add some thickness to those papers. So to do this, we are going to duplicate those layers again. So let's swipe on this one to the left and pick duplicate. Let's take that new layer underneath, this one, and let's change the color of this. We'll take the color a little bit lighter than the original color here. So first let's tap here and pick select. And let's change the color. Take this one here. Let's do the same to the next layer. So this one, duplicate it. Take this layer underneath, tap on it and pick select. And let's change the color. Take this one now. And now let's do the same to this paper. So duplicate it. Take the layer underneath, tap on it and pick select. And change the color now to this one. And now one more time. Let's duplicate this layer. Take the layer underneath, tap on it and pick select. And let's change the color to this. Now we are going to select all of those new layers, so swipe on them to the right. And we are going to move them out a little bit. We'll move them out in the opposite direction than the shadow. So let's take the arrow tool. And my shadow is this way, so I want to move the paper out this way. So I will just tap here on the screen a few times to do a micro movement and move this paper out. Now you don't want to move this too much, so then you will see like a gap between those papers. You just want this out just a little bit. So let's adjust this. Okay, my paper looks good now, so I'm going to tap here to finish. And in the end, I still like to add here some extra light to bring some more life to this. So for this, I'm going to make a new layer on top of everything here. And I'm going to pick here some kind of light yellow color. I don't have it here, but I'll just take it now and I will add it. I will take something maybe like this. I'm going to put it here for you. And now let's take the soft brush, so let's go to airbrushing and take soft brush. Let's make the brush size 14%. And because we have the shadow over here, it means that the light is somewhere here, so it will be hitting this paper somewhere over here. So I'm just going to add this here like that. Brighten this up here. Okay. Like this is nice. And now I want this light to be visible only on those layers that are underneath this first paper here. So to do that, let's go to this layer here and we want to select this. So tap on it and pick select. At the bottom now we have to turn off the color fill. And now let's go back to the layers. Go back to that layer with the light and tap on it and pick here clear. Now this light is not affecting that first layer here. We want to change here now the blending mode to have here a nice light. So you can pick any option that you like. You can pick add, lighter color, overlay, soft light, hard light. I like here overlay. And I'm going to turn down the opacity of this. Maybe I will make it 62%. Let's see now the difference with that light and without it. So you can see there is a big difference now. I think it looks nicer with this light. Maybe I'll turn it down just a little bit more. I'll make it 59%. And now this illustration is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you can share your drawing with me on my Instagram. I would love to see it. And if you'd like to draw more of me, make sure to check out my Patreon where I have more tutorials like this. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!